Ashamed, I hear my mocking voice call out among the scoffers. It was my sin that held him there until it was accomplished. His dying breath has brought me life. I know that it is finished. I will not boast in anything, no gifts, no power, no wisdom, but I will boast in Jesus Christ, his death and resurrection. Why should I gain from his reward? I cannot give an answer, but this I know with all my heart. His wounds have paid my ransom.
Hello, everyone. I want to welcome everybody to our Good Friday worship here at the Pine Island United Methodist Church. I'm Pastor Bill Hoffman. And we invite you today to remember what Jesus did for us on the cross because of his deep love for us. This will be a time of remembering our own sin that moved Jesus to the cross. It is also a time of letting his suffering and death sink deeply inside of us, so that we can comprehend how much Jesus loved. This meditation will involve reflection on the nails of the cross.
The nail of pride, Mark 12:38-40. As he taught Jesus, beware of the scribes who like to walk around in long robes and to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces and to have the best seats in the synagogues and places of honor at banquets. They devour widows' houses and for the sake of appearance say long prayers. They will receive the greater condemnation.
Oh God, help us consider our own pride and where it leads. Do not let us deceive ourselves. Our pride hurts us and creates walls between us and others. We know too that our pride hurts you.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
The nail of betrayal, Matthew 26:47-56. While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived. With him was a large crowd with swords and clubs, from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, "This one I will kiss is the man, arrest him." At once they came up to Jesus and said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. Jesus said to him, "Friend, do what you are here to do." Then they came and laid hands on Jesus and arrested him. Suddenly, one of those with Jesus put his hand on his sword, drew it, and struck the slave of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Then Jesus said, "Put your sword back into its place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword. Do you think that I cannot appeal to my Father, and he will at once send me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then would the scriptures be fulfilled, which say it must happen this way?" At that hour, Jesus said to the crowds, "Have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me, as though I were a bandit? Day after day I sat in the temple teaching, and you did not arrest me. But all this has taken place so that the scriptures of the prophets may be fulfilled." Then all the disciples deserted him and fled.
Oh God, help us consider how we betray others, how we abandon them in their time of need, how we think of ourselves first. Do not let us deceive ourselves. Our acts of betrayal hurt us and create walls between us and others. We know too that our betrayal hurts you.
Were you there when he walked the road alone? Were you there when he walked the road alone? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when he walked the road alone?
The nail of envy, Matthew 20, verses 20 to 28. Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee came to him with her sons, and kneeling down before him, she asked a favor of him. And he said to her, "What do you want?" And she said to him, "Declare that these two sons of mine will sit, one in your right hand and one in your left, in your kingdom." But Jesus answered, "You do not know what you're asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I am about to drink?" And they said to him, "We are able." He said to them, "You will indeed drink my cup, but to sit at my right hand and at my left, that is not mine to grant, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared by my Father." When the 10 heard it, they were angry with the two brothers, but Jesus called them to him and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones are tyrants over them. It will not be so among you. But whoever wishes to be great among you must be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you must be your slave. Just as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many." Oh God, help us consider how we envy others, how we desire more than we receive, and seek to influence and rule over others. Do not let us deceive ourselves. Our envy hurts us and creates walls between us and others. We know too that our envy hurts you.
Matthew 27:20-24. Now the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowds to ask for Barabbas and to have Jesus killed. The governor again said to them, "Which of the two do you want me to release to you?" And they said, "Barabbas." Pilate said to them, "Then what should I do with Jesus, who is called the Messiah?" All of them said, "Let him be crucified." Then he asked, "Why? What evil has he done?" But they shouted all the more, "Let him be crucified." So then Pilate saw he could do nothing, but rather the riot was beginning. He took some water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying, "I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves."
O God, help us consider how we waver, how we seek to avoid responsibility and to blame others for our actions. Do not let us deceive ourselves. Our indecision hurts us and creates walls between us and others. We know, too, that our indecision hurts you.
Were you there when they nailed him to the cross? Were you there when they nailed him to the cross? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they nailed him to the cross?
The nail of cruelty, Matthew 27:27-31 and 39-42. Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the governor's headquarters, and they gathered the whole cohort around him. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, and after twisting some thorns into a crown, they put it on his head. They put a reed in his right hand and knelt before him and mocked him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" They spat on him and took the reed and struck him on the head. After mocking him, they stripped him of the robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him away to crucify him. Those who passed by derided him, shaking their heads and saying, "You who would destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross." In the same way, the chief priests also, along with the scribes and the elders, were mocking him, saying, "He saved others, he cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him come down from the cross now, and we will believe in him."
O God, help us consider how we are cruel to others, how we malign and slander others and add to the evil that comes upon them. Do not let us deceive ourselves. Our cruelty hurts us and creates walls between us and others. We know, too, that our cruelty hurts you.
Were you there when they knocked the Son of God?
The nail of hatred, Luke 6:22 and 32 through 35. Blessed are you when people hate you, and when they exclude you, revile you, and defame you on account of the Son of Man. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. If you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. If you lend to those from whom you hope to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners to receive as much again. But love your enemies. Do good and lend, expecting nothing in return. Your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, for he is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. Oh God, help us consider how we show hate to others, how we fail to care for others and make distinctions among them. Do not let us deceive ourselves. Our hatred hurts us and creates walls between us and others. We know too that our hatred hurts you.
Were you there when the sun refused to shine? Were you there when the sun refused to shine? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when the sun refused to shine?
Confession, Isaiah 53, 4 through 6. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. He was wounded for our transgressions, and he was bruised for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that made us whole. All we like sheep have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid upon him the iniquity of us all.
The promise of mercy, Isaiah 53, 7 through 13. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that before its shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. By a perversion of justice, he was taken away. Who could have imagined his future? For he was cut off from the land of the living, stricken for the transgression of my people. They made his grave with the wicked and his tomb with the rich, although he had done no violence and there was no deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the will of the Lord to crush him with pain. When you make his life an offering for sin, he shall see his offspring and shall prolong his days. Through him, the will of the Lord shall prosper. Out of his anguish he shall see light. He shall find satisfaction through his knowledge. The righteous one, God's servant, shall make many righteous, and he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore I will allot him with portion with Therefore I will allot him a portion with the great, and shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out himself to death, and was numbered with the transgressors. Yet he bore the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors.